All right, so you know the Hebrew consonants and you know the Hebrew vowels. Now what we want to do is we want to teach you how to transliterate them from Hebrew letters to the letters we use in English. Now, what you'll find if you fish around, you maybe look at some Bibles will spell out letters of the alphabet, like for Psalm 119, and you'll find that they're not necessarily consistent. So I'm going to provide you with one way of transliterating. It's a fairly dominant way of transliterating. It'll do you just fine. And if you see little variations in this little Hebrew grammar of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Well, let your own Hebrew grammar shine. But this is how I'm going to teach you how to transliterate Hebrew. All right, let's dig in here. So first of all, how do you transliterate the consonants? Well, most of them are going to be pretty commonsensical, but there are some letters in Hebrew that we don't have in English, and so like Aleph, we're going to transliterate it with an apostrophe headed that way, like a backward C, and we just don't have that letter in English, so we had to come up with something else. I didn't do it myself. It was people who lived before me. But anyway, Aleph. Bet, we're going to transliterate just with a B. Now, there are some, you can find some people are more precise than others. And those who are really precise might translate it B when it has the dagesh in it. And then if it doesn't have the dagesh, transliterate it as a B with a line under it. And so this is pronounced B. This would be pronounced V. You might even spell it with a V if you want, but then you might confuse it with a Vav. And so if you want to be precise, you can translate the bet like this, and then the vet, so to speak, when it's pronounced V, with the B with a line under it. Gimel, same thing. So G, when it has the dagesh, and then some people will translate it like this with a line over it when it has the dagesh. I'm not going to pronounce it differently. I'm not going to pronounce it je or anything like that. I'm going to pronounce a gimel g all the time. But if you want to be precise, a gimel with the dagesh would be a g, and then a gimel without the dagesh would be a g with a line over it. Same thing with dalet. You notice these are the bagad kafat letters. The bagad kafat letters are the letters that can either take the hardening dagesh or not have the hardening dagesh. The next video will be on dageshes. And so with the dagesh, just a D, and then without the dagesh, sometimes pronounced the with a D with a line under it. Again, so I'm going to pronounce it duh all the time. But so bagad kafat letters, if you want to be real precise, normal with the dagesh and a line without the dagesh. Hey, this one's simple. Finally, one that's simple. We're going to transliterate it with an H. Finally, something that's normal. Okay, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav. So I'm going to transliterate a Vav with a V. Now, if you're pronouncing it wow, then I would probably transliterate it with a W, Yahweh, with a W. Or you can transliterate it, I'm going to transliterate it with a V myself. Zion, that's easy. Transliterate it with a Z. Chet, okay, we don't have a chet in English. So sometimes it's transliterated as an H with a dot under it. But there are some, like I was mentioning Psalm 119 translations that sometimes put the letter of the alphabet for each section. You might transliterate it CH. The problem there is an English speaker is going to be tempted to translate it as ch, and that's not what it is. It's a guttural. So chet, H with a dot under it, or a CH if you don't have that on your computer. Tet, similarly, this is not the tav. It's not a straightforward T. It's a ta. And so a T with a dot under it would be one way to transliterate. Again, some people are more precise than others. If you're just doing it for yourself, don't sweat it. But again, I'm trying to give you a somewhat precise method here if you want to use it for the tet. Yod, this one's easy. Just transliterate with a Y. Now, what we found in the previous videos is that yod can sometimes be a help for a vowel. The vowel can piggyback on the yod. We call that a mother of reading, a mater lectionis. I'm going to tell you how you might transliterate that below. But when yod is a consonant, you can transliterate it just simply with a Y. Kaf, again, we're going to do just a normal K. Now, I noticed that this is bagad kefat letter. And notice I didn't do the next bit, which is if it has the dagesh, some people transliterate it with a K. If it doesn't have the dagesh, sometimes people translate it as a K with a line under it. But I forgot to put that here. So K with the dagesh, normal. K without the dagesh, some people put a line under the K. Lamed with an L, nice. Mem with an M, nice. Nun with an M, N, nice. Samek with an S, boy, this is a nice page, isn't it? Fairly nice. So, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin. Well, how are we going to do Ayin? Drum roll, please. It's a backwards apostrophe, like a C. So, if the Aleph is a backwards C going this way, the Ayin is a C going this way. So, Ayin. Pei, again, begad kefat. So, pei is transliterated as a P when it has the dagesh. Without the dagesh, you put a P with a line over it. I couldn't find that symbol in my font set. So I just went ahead and wrote it out. Without the dagesh, it's a P with a line over it. But again, if you would just want to do P for pay wherever it appears, I'm not going to grade you down. In part because I'm not grading you. Tzadeh. This is not just a straightforward S, it's a t. And so, again, a dot. We've had 3 dots so far, right? We had the chet with a dot, we had the tet with a dot, and here's a tzadeh with a dot. Each one of these is a little different from anything we have in English. Kof with a Q, resh with an R, nothing peculiar there. Sheen, you could transliterate it as SH. There'd be nothing wrong to transliterate it SH. You might do this crown. This is a phonetic sh sound for the sheen, but I'll leave it up to you. If you want to do SH, because that doesn't require you to dig up a symbol, that's fine too. Seen. Now this one probably, you might just transliterate it with an S because for all intents and purposes, it's pronounced the same as a Samic. But if you want to use something slightly different so that you're in your notes, you know, oh, this wasn't a Samic, this was a scene, you could do an S with a little accent on top of it. That's one way to do it. So sheen, seen, and then finally tav is a T, although without the dagesh, sometimes people put a line under it and pronounce it th, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pronounce it t all the time. So there you have the consonantal transliteration letters that you can use to transliterate the letters of the alphabet. Always be mindful of doubling. Sheen is not a begad kifat letter. If sheen has a dot right here, we're going to find about in the next video about dageshes, but if sheen has a dot in it, then it's a doubled sheen. It's sheen, sheen. It's twice the sheen. Actually, sometimes a dagesh in a tav can be a doubling dagesh. We'll tell you how to do that in the next video. But don't forget doubling. When you're transliterating a doubled letter, you're going to write it twice. It's very simple. All right, what about the vowels? How do we transliterate the vowels? We are going to transliterate the vowels. Transliteration doesn't just do the consonants. When we're transliterating from Hebrew into English, we're going to put the vowels too. So kamatz is a long A, and that's the transliteration value. A patak is going to be just a normal A with no lines over it. A katef patak is going to be an A with a short micron over the top there. Micron. Anyway, so that's a katef patak. That's how you're going to transliterate it. And let me go ahead and show you the transliteration for shva. Shva is going to transliterate with an upside down Okay, so those are the transliteration values for these. Again, I'm also going to do a video on vocal and silent shvas. So when it's a silent shwa, you don't transliterate it at all. You only transliterate a shva when it's a vocal shwa. Let's continue. Hirik, we're going to transliterate with an I, just a normal I. Hold on that thought for the Hirik Yod in a minute, but for now we're going to translate Hirik with an I. Sere, we're going to transliterate with a long E. 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, 4. Segol, we're going to transliterate with a normal E. And then Katef Segol, which is the Segol with a Shva next to it, we're going to transliterate as a short E. Okay, so Seri, long E, Segol, normal E, Katef Segol, short E. Okay, vowels, we're almost done with the base vowels. The cholim, the dot above the line, we're going to transliterate with a long O. Kametz katuf, which is a short O. Again, I'll tell you in the video on silent and vocal schwas. I'll also tell you how to tell when it's a kamatz katuf, a short, normal O. We're going to transliterate a kamatz katuf just with an O. And then the katef kamatz, which is this kamatz with a shava next to it, that we're going to transliterate with a short O. All the katefs are the short mark over them. Kibbutz. Kibbutz, we're going to, going down the stairs, we're going to transliterate it with a normal U. Okay, one last slide. Hopefully that wasn't too hard. Vowels aren't too hard, I don't think, but practice makes perfect. So let's talk about the mothers of reading. How do we, the maters, I must be lacking sleep. Matres lectiones is what I thought I wrote here, and then the translation, mothers of reading. But now it says mothers of reading, mothers of reading. I think, unless this is a horrible video, acoustically, I'm going to stick with that. All right, so some of the mothers of reading. So kamatz hey, normally I think it's just transliterated along a hey, so that wouldn't have been any big deal. That's a little inconsistent with what I'm about to show you, but that's just the way I've seen it transliterated most of the time. It's possible that some purist would say, I want the hey elevated a little bit so that you know it's not a real hey. I'm not a real hey. And that's what we do officially with some of these other piggyback letters. So Hirik Yod, it's a long I, so it's not a short I, and I put this little hat on it to say that this is a special kind of I. And then the Yod hiding up there, basically saying, I'm not a real vowel here, I'm just being a piggyback. Same thing with Sarah Yod, long E with a Yod kind of, there's Yod here if you want to be, you can omit the Y, frankly. If you want to omit the Y, that's not a problem. Segol Yod, same thing. I'm going to transliterate it like a Segol with a Y up there. Then the Cholim Vav, again, I'm going to put a hat on it. Often a historically long vowel. I might tell you about that in some other video. But anyway, with the Vav up there, or you can just do the fact that it has the hat on it tells me it's a Cholim Vav, probably. But if you want to be a purist, you can put the little V there to say this is piggybacked on a Cholim. And then finally, the Sharuk, I'm going to do as a U with a hat on it. And if you want to put the V up there, you're welcome to put it up there. Well, that wasn't too painful, was it? You may need to watch this video a few times to get it all down, but that is a system of transliteration, the one that I'm going to use in this series. So I hope that wasn't too clear. Actually, I hope it was clear, and I hope you have a great day. This has been Transliteration Nation.